Hasta Spa Vista, baby. Welcome back, folks. We are doing Spa this week in the Porsche Cup. Once again, we've done one of these before, but things have changed enough where I felt like the need to do it again. And so I'm unlisting the old video. It'll be linked up here and in the description below. But I'm pretty happy. It took me a while. I got a 222 155. I think the fast folks are going to be doing 219s, 218s, stuff like that. So pretty quick. I'm, again, happy with our time. So let's go ahead and watch it. We'll see how we did it, and then I'll come back and we'll talk a little bit after that.
You're 0.2 off your best in sector 1. That was a 222.16. That's your fastest lap today.
All right, we got Spa in the Porsche Cup. iRacing fixed setup. 222 155. Let's go through how we did it. This layout we're doing is the classic pits, so we get a good exit here, and we're coming up to the start finish is up here after La Source this time. So we're just going flat out through here. Eau Rouge is kind of tough. I was able to figure out how to get it flat out, but I went through and did a bunch of practice with the active reset to try and get it. So the thing I would say is we want to cut in here, and then my instinct, and I don't know about you, but my instinct is to kind of try and pull in and get going that way earlier, but we want to kind of hold off and wait to turn in just a little bit. So we're just going to start to turn in here. We're going to do our best to follow the dark groove here, but we're just turning in a little bit, kind of holding it in. So just kind of look at we're slowly turning in. We don't want to clip this inside curb here. So we're just going to barely touch it as we come up and over, but we're just turning more wheel in as we're coming up. And then as we hit the top, we're going to have to unwind it and start turning back the other direction so that we don't don't end up going off over here. We really want to avoid, and anybody who's driven Spa on iRacing knows this, we really want to avoid going off over here, because that is a huge slowdown, and we'll get a that's worse than if you lift. But going flat out, so we're turning back left here as we come out of the exit. Going flat out, I figured out kind of netted me about I'd say 1/4 to 3/10 of a second faster than if I lifted a little bit at the base of Eau Rouge. So that's kind of the difference there. But this is all, the rest of this is flat out until we get here. And then my braking point's a little bit before the curb, the red and white curb here. So we're gonna get on the brakes right about now. Slow down quite a bit. Probably use a little bit more braking force, but we're just gonna do that. And then we're just slowly easing off the brakes as we come out here. Slowly easing off the brakes, and we're gonna get up on this curb on the right just a little bit as we come through. We're just still gonna get back on the gas just a little bit more, and then we're gonna lift again as we come around for this left-hander here. We're just dropping to a small percentage of the throttle, and then we're gonna give it back as we come out of the corner. And then I don't track all the way out over here because we're gonna have to track out a little bit, but we want to get back over here so that we can be ready for the next corner. So once we get back to where we want to be on this side, get back to the full throttle, and then we're going to end up getting ready to lift again as we approach this next corner. And it's just a little lift here. Oh, 75% is little. And we're gonna clip this curb as we come over. Kind of helps the car turn just a smidge. But then as we exit out, we're gonna straighten out our wheel and give it the rest of the gas. As we come out, we could have used quite a bit more of this curbing here. We can go all the way out to the edge as long as we keep our inside, our right-hand wheels inside the white line there. And this is just flat out through here until we get to our next braking point, which is going to be I go just a little bit before the curbing there. So we're just getting on the brakes, and then we're just going to slowly downshift as we're letting off on the brake pressure. So as we do that, we're letting off on the brake pressure, getting down. I'm going to get down to second. And then we get about right here, we're going to start putting the throttle back in. We exit. This corner can be taken a couple ways. This is just how I do it. But yeah, we're just putting a little bit of throttle back in it as we go. And then as we kind of get down here, we'll be able to open up the wheel and start putting the rest of the throttle in. As we go down, we're going to put the rest of the throttle in. We're going to get on to the left-hand side here. And then we're going to start bringing the car over to the right. And then we're going to have to lift and brake. It's just a little bit of brake pressure as we come through here. We're just trying to grip up the front wheels so we can make this turn. We're going to clip this curb on the left here. Just a hair. And we're putting the throttle in, and we're going to try and use as much of this this exit as we can. So we go through here. It's about as much as you can use without getting an off track. And then we're full straight until we get to Pouin here. Now, here, we're going to brake about halfway down this curbing. I noticed that if I get too far over to the right, where my right wheels are on this white line, they have a tendency to lock up. So I try and keep them, make sure that they're not crossing over there. Otherwise, I would try and use a little bit more, but I noticed anytime I tried to use more of this curbing, I'd lock up pretty hard, and that would cause me to understeer through all of Pouan, and it just made it bad. So there might be a better way to do that, but I couldn't figure it out. So there's this drop off here, so you can get your tire out on that. I think that's what's causing that. But yeah, we're just gonna hold the brakes, and then we're just gonna trail brake through here. So we're just letting off the pressure slowly as we come through, and we're still holding that little pressure as then we're gonna start bringing the gas back into it as we exit this first part here. And then we're gonna straighten out the wheel. The car is gonna track out. We're gonna have to modulate a little bit as far as grip is concerned. Had to lift a little bit there. I think you can take it flat out the rest of the way. But yeah, so this is just flat out through the rest of this here. And then we are gonna go flat. So the breaking point here, you don't want to use the shadow. I think the curbing is too late, so there's a bit of patch of dirt here. The shadow is gonna move. It's not gonna be the same every time, right? So there's this patch of dirt as we come up. Right here, there's this different colored spot. I don't know how well it's going to come through with the YouTube compression and everything, but there's this kind of discoloration. That's what I use for my breaking point here. This is a bit ahead of the curbing. We're going through, and we're just going to start to lift the brakes off as we trail brake. And that's one of the skills that we got to get down. The better we can get at that, the faster we can go. But we're just holding that little bit of pressure, and then we're going to come back onto the gas just a little bit as we come through. We're going to climb up onto this little curbing here. And then as we straighten out the wheel, we're going to put the rest of the throttle in right about now. And then we lift off almost instantly. Put a little bit of brake pressure in to grip up the front wheels. So we can come around to this next curb, and then we're just going to start to feed the throttle back in. And then we're going to come onto the exit here, and the rest of the throttle is going to come in as we straighten out the wheel. Then we are full throttle for a little bit here. We get up here, and then we're just going to brake again a little bit before the red and white curbing. Nice of the people at Spa here to give us these nice braking points. And we're just going to hold that brake pressure for a little bit, and then we're going to start coming off. Just slowly as we come through here. And then back on the throttle a little bit as we turn the wheel the rest of the way. And then we're going to give it the rest of the gas. And we're gonna track out all the way onto this green stuff here. Then we're gonna come through this next corner, and we are just gonna have a lift on this next one. So, and we're gonna try not to lift all that much. We're gonna feel the grip as we go through, and kind of that'll dictate how much we can keep the throttle going. But it's like a quarter off the throttle there. And then as we kind of come out, we're going to start feeding the throttle back in, and we're full throttle pretty much the rest of the way until we hit I think the corner's called Blanchimont. So yeah, it's just full throttle through here. Then all right, we're going to have to lift just a smidge as we come through here. So we're just a little lift, about half throttle, and then back on it. I've done it with a little bit more throttle staying there. I think we could have gone a little bit longer on the throttle because we don't track out as far as as we could. But we need to get back onto. We can't have our wheels going into this stuff here. That's an off track. So there's a little bit of leeway. Yeah, and we're full throttle through here. And I have at different times had different braking points. The track's pretty hot this week, so pretty early for my braking point, I've been using this white line here. Other times I've used this discoloration up here, but we're going earlier today. So we're on the brakes, pretty heavy, and I try and downshift to second, slowly, or fourth, third, or second about now. And then I kind of go down to first as we come over this one, but we're just kind of slowly letting off the gas or the brake pressure and get down to first. This is one of my worst corners on the track. But then we're gonna just put a little bit of throttle as we come through here. A little bit of throttle, and we're just gonna increase the throttle a little bit, and then we have to let go and put just the breath of brake pressure in to try and get the car back on the front wheels, and then we're just giving that little bit of gas again as we're coming out, and then we're going to straighten out the wheel the rest of the way so that we can start putting in the accelerator as soon as we can, and we're going to track out a little bit here, and then it is full throttle. So normally we'd have finished our lap, but it's a different layout, so we've got to do the last the source here, and our braking point is going to be kind of where this discoloration starts here. So we are going to get on the brakes right here. We're going to hold it, downshift, 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 and then one more as we're letting off the brake pressure, turning in, grabbing as much track as we can into this corner. You can't see it, but we are right next to the wall on the right hand side there. And then we're getting on the throttle. As we're coming out, we're going to straighten out the wheel pretty quickly as we get the rest of the throttle put in. We're going to use a bit of this exit here, exit curb. And then we are just on our way full throttle for the rest of the lap. And then this is where we start finish. We got ourselves a 222.155. All right, so yeah, real happy with the 222.155. Still not the fastest guy in the world, but I'm happy with that time. I do think one thing to watch out for this week is that it is the alternate start. So instead of all the chaos happening at La Source, it's going to happen up Eau Rouge. So I'm going to do some AI races myself just to do the start, and then I'll hit escape once I get through the start and just reset it and do it over and over and over again, just to kind of get used to all those cars funneling up that right at the beginning there, because it is going to be nuts. I hope not, but we'll see how it goes. Like I said, I'm happy with my times here. We'll see how the races go. If you want to watch along live when we do those races, head on over to twitch.tv/thepiltdownman. Thumbs up if you like the video, thumbs down if you didn't, and hit the subscribe button if you want to see more of these. It helps out, and yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.